can be more important than learning to be a better spouse, partner, and friend? Why do some marriages and close relationships implode while others thrive? John Gottman has written several practical books that answer this question and that explain how to make close relationships work. Unlike most of what you'll find on the relationship bookshelves, his advice is based on solid scientific research. But if you merely read Gottman's books, odds are you will simply forget the content, or perhaps at best you'll remember the key ideas, but you're unlikely to apply them in your relationship. Fortunately, Gottman's books are chock-loaded with exercises. As I also showed in my previous book, Cognitive Productivity, you can develop your own flashcard decks to implement these exercises and become a better spouse and friend. Now let me show you how you can use the Cognitive Productivity Q&A template to create flashcards to implement this. But first, let me draw your attention to the fact that here you're not merely memorizing content, you're programming your mind to perceive and respond more productively to the world. Now let's see how you would do this with Anki. So let's add a card. We're going to change the type of note here to select generic question and answer. Choose that. Now notice that this comes up with a number of different fields here, such as the question, which I'm going to fill in here. Okay, so here's your question. Imagine that you need to criticize someone while avoiding a harsh startup. What rules might you follow such that you would optimally proceed? Well, first, to know what a harsh startup is, you should really read Gottman's book. Now here's an answer based on my reflections from reading the book and from the book itself, which I'm printing here. Now Gottman explains that a common pattern that leads to problems in relationships is when you want to complain about something that your partner has said, but you actually move into criticism mode, okay? And then you get into a harsh startup, which is a quick escalation of the situation. So you need to learn to anticipate that you will want to complain and criticize about your spouse, and you need to learn to do this in a way that does not lead to a harsh startup. So he says, here are certain rules. If you're going to complain about something, make statements that start with I instead of you, and be clear, be appreciative, be polite, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, there's quite a few things here that one needs to remember. And as I explained in detail in the first Cognitive Productivity book, there's reasons why learning lists is very difficult. But by understanding how memory works, you can actually make learning lists a lot more manageable. So let me show you a mnemonic you can use to learn a list such as this one. So here is a figure that I've prepared that acts as a mnemonic. And I'm going to dump it into this mnemonic field. And I'm not actually going to explain this mnemonic to you in great detail at the moment, but it is there. What you need to know is that the template that we've provided for you contains a mnemonic, so that when you're going to be asked in practice mode what the question is and the answer, when the answer comes up, you'll be given a mnemonic so that you can actually learn the mnemonic while you're learning to answer this question. Now this beautiful template that we've prepared for you has several other fields that are handy. For instance, there's a reference field. If you wanted to, you could add the reference where you got the information from. You can add notes about this Instiller, which is notes about the learning technique that you're creating. And that's what this flashcard essentially is. And notes about the actual knowledge gems. Remember, I emphasized earlier that what you don't understand is very important to keep track of, so you can include that information here. And notice that I've included several different questions and answers. So there's not just one question and answer pair associated with this particular note type. And also you have here some tags, and I'm going to add a tag called self-regulation. And you'll see later that you can actually use these tags to navigate through your deck. And if instead of using the reference field, or in addition to it, you wanted to keep track of the authors, so that you can easily find all the work by a certain author, you could use the @ symbol here to reference authors and then just add Gottman, and the tag will automatically be created for you. And we talked about tagging in previous chapters. So now I'm going to close this, and actually that's a good example because I shouldn't have tried to close it. I need to press the add button. Okay, and that has been added.